Hi guys, it's Ikide Augustine and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be starting our Python series and we'll be talking about basic Python syntaxes and variables in Python. So let's get started. So to start this, I'll be creating a new folder where we'll be writing our codes. So I'll go to CMD, my command prompts, and I'm going to cd into my desktop. I'll cd into my work. That's where I'm going to be creating the folder, and I use my mkdir to create my tests. Let me use test2 in case I have a folder that is already with the name test. So I've created a folder called test. So I'm going to cd into that folder called test2, and then I'm going to open my VSCode for you. So to open your VSCode to open a folder in VSCode from a command line, you just type code and a space and dot. So when you hit enter, it's directly open. Okay, and we're inside VSCode. I am going to create a Python file where I'll be writing the code. So I told you in my beginner video, if you've not seen it, the video I made on how to install VS Code on your Windows, you should check it out. I'll display the link in the description. So I am going to create this file with the extension py. So Python files always end with the py extension. So now I'm going to print in a simple Python statement. I am just going to print a hello world to the console. So I told you that to output anything in your console in Python, all you have to do is just use the keyword print and then open two brackets and then write what you want to print out inside parentheses. That's if it's a string. We are still going to talk about the different data types in future videos. So to run this, I'm going to open my terminal. You come to these three dots here, you click and open a new terminal here. So when you open the terminal, you type Python. Because you are running a Python code, you type Python and the name of the file that you want to run, index.py. So when I hit run, we have hello world here. Now, in Python, we use indentation in Python to deal with blocks of code. So what do I mean by blocks of code? A block of code is there are lines of code that perform the same function, that fall under the same category. So for instance, I want to write a conditional statement that if something like this happens, then this should follow. So everything should be inside a block. So for instance, if I want to say if 5 is greater than 2. Now, when I put my colon here and I hit enter, it automatically tabs in. So it tabs in here to tell me that everything I'll be writing now belongs to this block. So everything will be executed inside this if statement. So I want to say print greater than, print greater than. So when I run this code, you are going to see greater than. Now, if I move this print statement backward, you're going to see an error because whenever you have this colon here, you're supposed to tab in to create that block of code. So everything that is here, once you have a tab here, everything you have here belongs to the block of code. So in other programming languages like JavaScript, like C++, so they use curly braces to define a block of code. So you have everything inside the block of code. But in Python, we use tab. We call it indentation in Python. So you indent to create a block of code in Python. Now, moving on, I will briefly talk about variables. So variables in Python basically serve three purposes. Firstly, variables help you to store values in Python. Variables help you to make your code more readable. Variables help you to make your code more reusable. So for instance, now I can say print 3 plus 3. Now when I run this code, it's going to print the result of 3 plus 3, which is 6. Now if I want to print 3 plus 3 again, I will have to come back again and write print 3 plus 3. So if you are going to be printing 3 plus 3 1,000,000 times, you have to come back to write print 3 plus 3. And this is where variable comes in. So I can assign the value of 3 to a variable. So whenever I want to print 3, I don't have to, whenever I want to use 3, I don't have to explicitly say 3. So I will be using that variable instead of 3. So I can say, let me delete this. So I can say n is equal to 3. So I'm assigning 3 to the variable called n. Now I can now say print n. So when I say print n, Python knows that n is 3. So Python is going to print out 3. You can see now if I say print n plus n, Python knows that n is 3. So you add 3 to 3 is going to print out 6. Now that is one function for that's one reason why we use variables, to make code reusable. Secondly, for memory. Now if I just say print 2 plus 3, it is nowhere in the memory. Like I cannot reuse because it's not saved anywhere in the memory. I did not assign 2 to anything. I didn't assign 3 to anything. Now by assigning 3 to n and maybe assigning y to 2, so let me call this x. So x is 3 and y is 2. So Python in its memory knows that x is 3 and y is 2. So I can come down here and use x to manipulate x to do something. So I can say print x plus x minus y. Sorry, I used, so yeah, I'm still going to talk about that. So Python is case sensitive. So when I declared the variable x, I used capital letter. So it was showing error here because I was using small letter, so it couldn't identify it. So take note of that. So x plus x minus y. And when I save this and run it, I'm going to have what? 3 plus 3 minus 2, and that gives you 4. Now in Python, we have convention for naming variables in Python. So we are just here. We are just doing 2 plus 3, 3 plus 4. So the names might not really be important. But when you are writing thousands of code, you want to use names that you can easily remember and easy that are descriptive and concise at the same time to represent your variables. So we have 3 different conventions that we use for naming in Python. So the first one is we have the snake case. The snake case. So the snake case is used in a way that the variable, when you have 2 words forming a variable, you separate them with an underscore. So the 2 words are in small letters, and then you separate them with an underscore. So let's say I want to say pupil's name. So I want to save the name of a pupil to a variable called pupil's name. So I want to say pupil's name equal to Ben. So pupil's name equal to Ben. Now, this is the first naming convention. We call this snake case. So when you have more than one word forming a variable, so you connect them with an underscore, and the words are in small letters. So if you have 3 words here, you're going to have another underscore here and add the 3rd word to it. Then the second one is what we call the camel case. So the camel case is the kind of naming convention where you have 2 words. When you have more than one word forming the name of a variable, and you have the first word in small letter or true, and then the second and consequent words start with capital letter. So you can see here. So if I say pupil address, so this is camel case. So it's kind of describing how the back of a camel looks like. So you have the middle high up, and then you have the other ends low. So that's why it's called camel case. And then the last one, we also have the Pascal case. So the Pascal case basically is a naming convention whereby each word starts with a capital letter. So the Pascal case, so an example of Pascal case, so let's say um, my age. So I can say declare variable called my age. My age equals 32. my age equals 32. So the first word, my, starts with capital letter. The second word, age, starts with capital letter. If I have a third word, it will also start with capital letter, and every other thing will be in small letter. So these are the three main conventions for naming your variables when you have more than one word. But if you have a single word variable, you should use small letter or true, except if it is a constant. So for constant, you use capital letters to name the variable. So for example, let's say you want to save a key. So let's say an API key. So the convention in Python is to use capital letter or true. So these are the three different ways you can define and clear variables in Python. Now, I'll quickly show you some examples of how variables can be very important and make your code cleaner in Python. Let me comment these ones. Okay, let me just continue. So now, pupil's name is Ben. Now, I can say print. Remember, I said when you want to console something out, you use the print statement. So I can say print hello world, like I did before. So when I run this, I have hello world. Now I want to greet the pupil. So I can say hello pupil. When I run this, I have hello pupil. Now, what if I want to greet Ben? I can easily say hello Ben, and I'll print hello Ben. What if I want to greet every student? I want to write a program that greets you based on your name. Now here, instead of saying Ben, I can use the variable that I have used to save the name of the student. So pupil's name. So I can say hello. I'll leave a space between the second quote here and the hello, and then outside it, I'll put a plus pupil's name, Ctrl X. Now when I run this, what do I have? Hello Ben. Now if I change this pupil's name to Grace, if I change it to Grace, it's going to print hello Grace. So it's no longer attached to Ben alone. So I'm not just saying hello Ben here because I'm using this variable called pupil's name. So this pupil's name will always take the value that has been assigned to it, and it's going to print it out for you. So this is one of the advantages of using variables. Now, another thing I would like to quickly mention, this video is already getting long, I don't want it to be too long, is that variables can be reassigned. So for instance, let me delete this. So for instance, I say num1 equal to 5. Now, num1 is equal to 5. It's saved in the memory that num1 is 5. I can now say that num1 equal to 6. Now, let me show you what I'm trying to say. Now, if I print num1 here and print num1 here. Now, remember, Python is an interpreted language, so it runs the code from top to bottom. So it's going to run this first before it gets here. So when it gets here, it sees that num1 is equal to 5. So it prints out this num1. And then when it comes here, it sees that num1 is now equal to 6. So now let's see what's going to happen. Let me save this and run it. Now you can see in the first instance, it printed 5 because num1 was 5. And in the second instance, printed 6 because num1 has been reassigned to 6. So variables can be reassigned. The values of variable can change. So variables are basically like labels, like a container. So you can remove what's in the container and put something else there. So that's basically what variable does in Python. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please like, comment, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on my next video, because I'm going to be taking this Python series like all the way. We're starting gradually. In my next video, we'll be talking about different data types we have in Python: strings, integers, floats, and booleans, and the rest. See you in my next video, and thank you for watching. Bye.